You got to go all in on your brand.
Yes.
That was the thing. And the bobblehead thing was something that goes all the way back to my agency time. And so now I'm just like, every time I do a call, I'm like, okay, what ones should I put around my microphone this time? And then I always bump the table like this, and it makes their heads move, which is, people say, I was totally distracted by the bobbleheads agreeing with everything you say. But that all goes to brand awareness, So I'm like, yeah, it's good. If I want to look positive, I just jiggle them a little bit.
Yeah.
Nobody knows I'm even doing it.
Yeah, or else it's too serious sometimes.
Yes. Oh yeah, too serious. So you and I both are cut from the same cloth on that. Like, I like to have fun with it. I mean, you're like next level past me on that stuff. But I think for one of the higher follower accounts, I'm definitely more lighthearted than a lot of the people that are there. Yeah,
no, that's what I like too. Yeah, it makes it more approachable because sometimes it kind of just feels like some of these other accounts have this impenetrable wall around them where you kind of don't feel comfortable reaching out and saying hi, but you're just very welcoming, which is really nice. I was just telling my husband about you the other day, how I talked to you on Instagram. He's like, really? Yeah. He actually answers you back? Yeah. He's a really cool guy.
We're like friends now. I would be sad if you didn't message me. That's the way that it is. Truthfully, I've built like this kind of core of probably 30 or 40 people who I message with pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for it, just like they are. Somebody who's in Iran, the guy who runs my Persian account, he started messaging me and we became good friends like this. Not quite, I don't interact with him as much and as sociably as I do with you, but there are other people who it's like every single day we're messaging. And they're like nothing accounts in volume. They're 500 followers that are all their real friends. But it doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm not out there trying to shop into the mega accounts. I'm in there just trying to create legitimate one-on-one relationships with people, because it has just as much value to me as it does to whoever I'm interacting with. So when when somebody messages me and says that, like what you just said, and he actually replies to you, I'm like, of course I do, because I'm as grateful for you messaging me as you are for me messaging you. That's just how I feel about it. So
exactly. That's exactly how it starts. And not just that, but I mean, when you have a smaller account that is just saying great things about you, it's so much more credible than when it comes from a larger account that people kind of just assume, they're getting paid to say that, or it's a collaboration that they're doing. So it's a numbers game when it comes to that smaller level, but it's totally worth it. Because I mean, even if it's not about the numbers, it's just the actual connection, like you're talking about, just having somebody that is so invested in your content and loves what you have to say.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. And that's what it's all about. It's social media.
Yes.
And it's all about being social in the platform. Yeah. I had a call last week with Dot Lung, who she's a social media guru person.
Yeah.
And I just posted our first video today. But when we were talking about how Instagram pays attention to your engagement in direct messages and feeds your content to the people that you interact with on direct messaging. And I was like, I didn't even know that. I thought direct messages were just the way that I connect and make friends. Yeah. But it actually is an algorithm hack that it actually helps you grow on social media. And I had no idea. So if you use social media the way that it's meant to be used, you don't need to worry about the algorithm at all. You just posting valuable content, posting things people will be interested in, knowing who you're trying to talk to, and then legitimate, real engagement, and you're going to grow. And don't worry about any algorithms or what hashtags to use or any of that stuff.
Exactly. Because I mean, at the core, every single social platform is pretty much the same formula. Just be social, listen, respond to people, be very responsive to people. And just when people don't do these things, especially the being social part, they think it's the algorithm, or like right now with the whole likes thing going away, people getting scared, but that really doesn't matter. If you're putting out great stuff, likes don't matter. It's just the actual relationships that you're building and the response that you're getting, is your content inspiring action, basically.
Yeah. Now, from a numbers guy like me, where I measure success based on certain metrics, the likes going away, I'll still be able to see them, I suppose. I'm not sure how it's actually going to work.
Yeah.
But I look at it, I'm like, oh no, now my game is gone. Now, because it's like a competition for me with myself, because I'm like, oh, if I got 3,000 likes on this one, that's where I want to be, if I want it to grow from there. So what is my metric for success? I'm going to have to come up with a new game to play when the likes go away, but it's not going to change my behavior in social media, because I already do everything not for the likes, but I do it for this real genuine connection with people. And for brand awareness, just like any brand would do it.
Yeah. And honestly, I never really cared much for the likes. I cared more for the comments, the saves, the shares, the people who might send me the post back to my DMs and say something about it that might be, too private for a comment, but they want to let me know that it meant something to them. That I think means more than getting 3,000 likes, just getting that one person that says that you've made an impact in their life somehow, or every single piece of content. I mean, that's the other thing. People will look at one piece of content and think, why didn't this sell this, or why didn't this sell that? But every single piece of content is like, you have a follower that, imagine you have like a mountain. You have one mountain here, one mountain there, and this person wants to go from point A to point B. Every single piece of content essentially creates a stepping stone to get to the other side, reminding them of, what they're going through and why you're the go-to person for whatever it is you cover, until you create this bridge of just trust and confidence that they can approach you, they can work with you.
Yeah. Such good comment. I'm 100% on board with that.
Yeah.
My favorite comments are the ones when people say, man, this was perfect timing. I was really struggling with this. This really was perfect for me today. Thank you so much. Man, that makes me feel like I'm part of the solution and part of doing what I'm really trying to do and help other people. And so when I get those kinds of comments, that's the gold nuggets for me. And I value those over the 1,000 quick click likes. It's those kinds of comments that you really want, that real connection. Makes all the difference. Yeah.
It's actually funny because I was actually reading my DMs the other day, and my husband, he's like, "Are you crying?" And I'm like,
funny.
I opened my DMs and
you were crying, right? You were crying.
I wasn't crying on the story. I calmed down a little bit for that. Yeah. But I had like 7 voice messages from somebody just telling me how much they appreciate all of the content that I'm always putting out there. And
it's
when you're
good.
You're making content, and sometimes it's like, are people even looking at this stuff? So when you actually get somebody that says that to you, it feels amazing to know that you have this one person that really notices all the amazing stuff you're putting out there.
Yeah, well, I follow your content and I watch it, and it's fun, so don't stop. If the comments stop, let me know and I'll start commenting more.
Okay.
I don't think I'm never going to make you cry, so don't expect that from me, but I will be supportive.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I don't want to cry, but that was nice.
No, I wish I could cry more. That's where I am in life. I've had a few moments in life when I've kind of hit bottom and tears come more easily. But most of my time, I'm like, I feel like, I gotta cry, and I just can't get it out for some reason. Like, I grew up with 4 brothers and, no sisters. There wasn't. The only emotions we showed were like even keel or mad at each other. That was the range of emotions. There was never like, sadness was never an acceptable emotion in my family.
It's like very like macho man, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit of that. Yeah.
A lot of the times when people are wondering why are they attracting other experts, they think that they have a problem with their visuals, which might be the case for some people. But a lot of the times what happens is that we're talking with way too much jargon in our messaging. So way too many technical terms, and we're losing people because of that. So a way that you can sort of work through this is to look at your competitors' content and see what are people commenting, to understand not just what topics people really need help with, but also how they're expressing these things, as well as going on discovery calls with people, if you don't already have clients, going on these discovery calls with people and initiating these points of contact where you're truly just listening. And I think a lot of the times listening is a problem that a lot of people have. We think we're listening, but we're not. We're not really just letting people speak. So having these moments where you're in constant communication with people you consider your target audience and really hearing the problems that they're working through and how they're phrasing this could be exactly what you need to have better messaging in your social media content.
Yeah. It's the word while you were talking is empathy. While you were talking, I was like, okay, we got to understand who our target audience is and then put ourselves in their shoes and speak to them the way that they are ready to receive, not in the way that we think or say ourselves. So this is true all the way down into client relationships too. A lot of times we go into a client meeting and we start talking about algorithms and metrics and things, and coding languages and whatever it might be. And that's speaking up here and your client's knowledge is down here.
Exactly.
And so you've got to dumb down the message to hit your target audience. One of the core pieces that's so important on this is you've got to first identify your target audience. You've got to know who are you talking to and what do you want them to do. That's the objective. So
exactly.
Who are you talking to? What do you want them to do? And you'll see a lot of designer accounts in this creative community on Instagram where they want clients, but all their content is driven toward other designers. They're speaking to other designers and building a community of other designers. And then they message people and say, hey, how do I get clients on social media? And my response to that is always, well, talk to the clients and what the clients need, not to the designers and what the designers are needing or wanting. So this is a big thing. I mean, it all goes back to this target audience. Define it, know how to speak to them, and then go all in on your content in that frame of mind. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely. Yeah, and the other thing too is simplifying the way you're talking doesn't mean that you're sounding dumb. It just means that you are creating easy to digest content. People are scrolling 500 miles per hour on social media. They're impatient. I don't think that they have an attention problem. I think they're just very selective. So by you making it easier for them to understand what you're saying, it just makes a world of a difference. Yeah,
that's great advice too. I mean, you've got to think that first slide is so important. If we're talking about social media marketing, that first image that they see and is so critical because this is the motion. It's like, oh, I got to catch up on Instagram. And they're just swiping or Facebook or YouTube or whatever it might be. And if you don't catch them with that very first thing, they're gone. You lost them forever.
Exactly.
So that's a real challenge. Okay, I want to give a shout out to G'day Frank because he did something genius on this whole problem. His original account was G'day Frank, and he was posting his design work and things. And then when the carousel explosion happened in social media, he started posting some carousel content. And then he took a couple weeks off and he just disappeared. And then all of a sudden he launched G'day Design Life account. And his G'day Frank account is driven toward landing clients. It's speaking to clients. It talks about brand strategy, the importance of branding. He is a great designer and tries to land clients through that channel, but he opened up G'day Design Life as the channel to educate and support and help the design community, and he posts great content there. So it's a perfect example of knowing your audience and talking to the right audience. And so he was wise enough as a marketer to know that he couldn't do both in one account. So you've got to decide, do you want clients or do you want design community stature? Which are you going for here? And speak to that audience. Don't try and mingle it all into one account. So shout out to Frank Reagan is his real name. But shout out to G'day Frank for that super good example and awesome content. You should check him out. A great example. I've sent his profile to a lot of people. When they start talking to me, I send his profile as an example of how to do this right. So kudos, bro.
Yeah, his stuff is amazing. I love his content.
I know, it's so good, right?
Yeah.
His production quality is just really high. It's really great.
It's amazing. His videos, everything. I'm actually doing a podcast with him on Friday.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, his Two Red Chairs podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing that in a few weeks with him.
Oh, awesome.
Too. Yeah. He's good. He was one where I started when I started doing video, like these kind of collaborative videos. I reached out to him because we had interacted a couple times, and I watched. He had a little video clip in his feed, and he was good on camera. And so I reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, man, you want to make some content with me? I'll do like a QA session with you or something." And he was like, "Oh, sure." And so we did that, and I think, this is just me assuming, I think that he realized that he's pretty good on camera, because like within a month he was like cranking out tons of awesome content.
Yeah.
And so it was a good catalyst for him, because he is great on camera, and he does do high production quality. He's just a great person with great ideas too. So
yeah, that's actually one of the first videos that I saw of you. I mean, I found you through YouTube, but then I went on Instagram, and that was something with Frank was one of like the first pieces of content that I consumed from you.
It was one of the first video collabs that I ever did, and it's rough cut. I was using just my little webcam mic or camera and stuff. It wasn't. I've gotten more polished over time, but that one was at least a good start because it was helping me get my feet wet too. So
definitely. Many times when people are wondering why they have bad engagement, it's because they're just kind of sitting and waiting for things to happen. But when you just post great content and you wait for things to happen, it's kind of just like putting an ad out in the middle of the desert. Nobody's really going to see it. So if you want to create more of an approachable vibe, more of an approachable sense in your content, in your profile, you have to go out and initiate these conversations, initiate these relationships. Because a lot of the times what happens is that, for example, in my case, I would see amazing people that I wanted to talk to, but it kind of felt like there was this impenetrable social circle on social media where only the who's who gets to join and nobody else is in there. So if you don't want to create that sense, you have to go and make it be known that you're not like that. So go and start conversations with some of your most loyal followers. And you don't need 10,000 followers to have loyal followers. You can have 20 followers, 50 followers, doesn't matter. It all starts with one, that you make this cheerleader for your content, and they're just telling a friend and they tell another friend. And then before you know it, it just starts to grow. So ways that you can do this to create these opportunities for connection is really just using all of the features that you can within Instagram. In fact, the algorithm rewards you for using all of these features. So creating story content where maybe you're polling things and people vote, follow up with the people who voted and send them a voice message. That's an added bonus. Or even a video, just, asking them more about, whatever it is that they voted on to get more insight about whatever they voted on, or responding to every single comment, or initiating just conversations in the DMs, replying to people's stories. But when you start to do this and you get into the habit of doing this, people start to actually come to your page. So it's not just you initiating, but other people reciprocating that engagement back to you.
So people have done this with me knowingly or unknowingly, but some of my closest Instagram friends are people who just started commenting on my posts. They were like, "Oh, I love this." They'd share a couple little sentences, and I reply to every comment. And through commenting, we started to build a little bit of a relationship. Then DMs started happening. Then I follow them back because I'm as happy to have new friends anywhere in the world as they are to have me as a friend. And a lot of times people don't perceive that. They think, "Oh, he has a lot of followers. I can't talk to him." But honestly, I don't care if you have 100 followers. If you support me, I'm going to support you back. I want to be your friend. And so when somebody starts interacting with me in a friend level, I interact back and engage back with them. And they've become, I've had a lot of people that have become really close friends of mine through this thing. You're one of those people, Diana. We've talked a ton through comments and through DMs and things, and doing content and doing the Spanish language thing and stuff. It's like, we've created a connection, and we haven't asked each other for anything in our lives that I can remember. I mean, it's like, I don't say, "Hey, can you give me some advice on this?" Or "Can you tout my book, or I don't ask you to do anything like that. You don't ask me, hey, can you share my post? Can you do whatever? We've just become connected friends just through this engagement. And that is the key. It's called social media. So be social. And the way to start is just the comments. If you comment, you say you want to connect with Diana, and she's easy to connect to, so this is a bad example, but you want to connect with Diana and you want to become friends with her, start commenting on every post that she does, not just a firebomb emoji, but post a little couple sentences. She'll reply to you. Over 10 posts, all of a sudden she's going to know who you are. Even if they have 80,000 followers, they're going to know who you are. If you comment on 10 or 15 posts in a row, I start to recognize those people. And then they share something and I reply to the DM. And then I look at them and I think, oh man, they're such a good support to me. I better follow them back. And I do that. I mean, the people I follow are people that have supported me like that. And it just builds that real engagement. That's the real engagement. It's algorithm independent.
Yes.
Because that is the whole point of the algorithm, is to create this kind of engagement.
Yeah, no, and you do that so well, because I have a few accounts that I can say that I check all the time. And you're one of them, that's for sure. Like, even my parents know about you, because that's how cool I think that you are.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I've mentioned you a bunch of times.
My parents barely know about me, so this means a lot to me.
No, yeah, because I felt like, I mean, and I was embarrassed at first to say this, because I've never been the type of person that just fangirls over a singer or anything. But then you actually responding back, I didn't expect you to respond back to anything I was saying. I kind of just stopped, like, Instagram must be broken. Something happened.
No,
actually. So it's just really cool to see that. And too many people kind of put themselves in this like a state of thinking that they need to be more tough to reach, to kind of create the illusion that they're important and that they're pricey. But in reality, I think that just kind of hurts them. And be accessible does everything.
And that's the way I am. That's an interesting thing, because I do think that there is that perception that, okay, if I play hard to get, then people esteem me as super busy or super valuable or whatever it might be. But that's not fun for me. Like that, it doesn't get my juices flowing. What gets my juices flowing is having friends in Iran and Pakistan and Sweden and UK and Australia and Washington, just all these places all over the world that I interact with every day. That is just gold for me. So for me, that's what it's all about. I don't care about being, in fact, my mission is to be the most accessible design or creative mentor in the world. To be the most accessible. So I want people to feel comfortable reaching out to me. I want them to feel like if they want to be my friend, I'm going to be their friend back. I want them to feel like there's somebody who will give me answers when I got a client problem and I can reach out to somebody. I'm not out here alone in Saudi Arabia trying to solve how to get out of this mess I'm in with this client. Because I never had anybody to call on that stuff. So I always had to just figure it out. So I'm trying to be the person that I wish I would have had. And so that goal to be accessible comes with replying to DMs and building real relationships and answering questions. As long as, I'll put this in there, as long as people don't take advantage of it, because I do get a ton of messages. So try and keep it somewhat brief and direct, because I will reply to you. And if it's like, hey, I'm starting a freelance agency, do you have any advice for me? Man, I got 2 books of advice and like 6 months of content. So consume that and then give me a direct question, not just an overarching question.
It's good to hear that, because I was thinking that the other day, is it mean of me to think that? Because I get questions like that too, and it's like, I just posted about it. Did you not read the post? So definitely do your research.
Yes, do your research. And then ask a question about, if it's not answered in the post, then ask the question.
Yeah, and just people are more inclined to help people that help themselves. Like if you see, I think it was my husband said something like this to me where he heard something about like if you see somebody like on the side of the road, trying to push their car because it broke down, people are more inclined to help somebody that's, putting in the effort rather than just like looking for handouts.
Totally. Yeah, like if they have a sign that says, "Hey, will you push my car?"
Yeah.
They're less likely to pull over and do that. If they see somebody pushing the car themselves, then they stop.
Yeah.
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 That makes total sense. Good analogy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Help yourself first.
Definitely.
And then go to the answer people.
Exactly.
And this also applies to YouTube content or Facebook content or wherever. Just talking about upping your video game in social media in general. So let's talk about these very first things that I got. The first thing you got to know is that your phone is probably more powerful of a video recording device than what was used to shoot Star Wars 40 years ago. So when you say, okay, I need to buy a better camera or whatever, I mean, honestly, everybody in the world has a freaking phone, and this takes 4K video. Almost everybody's phone is going to take 4K video unless you have one from like 5 years ago, which is still takes HD video, and I shoot all my videos like this in HD anyway, even though my camera shoots 4K. It's just you don't need the $1,000 video device to get started. Diana, what do you use for shooting your videos?
I just use my iPhone. In fact, I had a
boom.
Yeah, in fact, I had a DSLR, but I sold it. I kind of regret it, I'll admit that. But my iPhone just works just as fine. And the only reason I regret selling the camera is because I just wanted to take pictures with it. But for video, I mean, I think this happens especially with the creative community where we get a little bit too stuck in the tools and the tiny details of things. And as a result, we only put out like one piece of content here and there. Even that's not consistent. So video is so simple, and it is scary for some to be on camera because we're very behind the scenes. I was formerly a social media manager, and I was always behind the scenes, planning the content, planning the video, never in front of the camera. So when it was finally my turn, and also coming from an agency setting, I thought I needed to have all of the gear that everybody else had, stuff. Right? But no, and I really admire Gary Vaynerchuk because his content is, and this is, I mean, it's in like the best way. It's so choppy, but it's awesome. Yeah. And he gets great engagement, and that's the perfect example. In fact, he just released a 270-page slide deck, which you should totally go and check out. Oh, and nice. In there, he actually stresses the fact that a lot of people get stuck in this production phase of content creation, and we just need to stop overthinking it. So just grab that phone, hit record, and you don't even need fancy gear to add to your phone in the beginning. Just get started, make some money, then you can add on some gear. But all you have to do is press that button and go. And if you're worried about how you sound and what you're saying, I took a little course on Skillshare that was about storytelling for film. And basically what it says there in that course is to create a loose script. So sometimes in my videos, what I do is I create a little bullet pointed list of the things that I want to touch on and in the sequence that I want to touch on them. So what's going to be my opening sentence for a video that within 3 seconds is going to capture your attention. It's helped me tons. So you don't even need to take the course to learn that. Just prioritize what you want to say, hit that record button, maybe sound a little awkward in the beginning, and then just keep going and you'll get better with time. Yeah,
better with time is such a valuable one. Look at my content from April. Look at my video content from April. Or go back to my first few YouTube posts. I mean, it's rough. I would shoot for 2 hours, edit for 4 hours, and then have a 4-minute video as the outcome of this. And so you got to get in there and practice. So it was really good advice, what you just shared. And you come across as really capable and confident on video. You've got it comes across natural, but it's not natural, it's practiced. No. That's what it is. And you practice every day.
Yeah, I'm very introverted. Yeah.
You are not introverted.
I am, I swear. No, I swear.
So am I. And the truth, I've said this a lot of times, but like naturally I'm introverted. But people don't know that about me either. So I love the idea that you just said too of a loose script. I do that on these collaboration videos. We have a talking point that we start with, and then I always put like 3 or 4 little bullets of what I want to touch on for my piece of this content, but it's never scripted. It's all just, okay, I want to make sure I hit this, this, and this. And so it's a rough script on that. That's really good to do. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of the introductory tools that I started with. Use your phone. Get one of these Gorilla Pods that's like, this is the most robust one you can get, and they have varying degrees of weight and sturdiness and things. So you can get a cheap one for like $30 or something. This one was like $100 or $89 or something. And you know, it has little ability to adjust and swivel and all that. And then get one of these tripod mounts for your phone to connect to your tripod. So you hook it in like this, and then you're set. Now you can go. And I actually have one that is also like this, that has a cold shoe mount on the top, so I can hook a microphone into it, and then you can connect that and put your camera in there, and then you have better audio quality as well. So this mic was like $80, this was like $80, and this was like $10, all on Amazon. This is the Rode Video Mic Go. It's a super cheap, entry-level, good quality microphone. It's better than what is native to your phone. So at least get something like this. But we're talking about an investment of, you know, $150 to $175, and all of a sudden you've got a steady cam and mount and good quality audio, and you just leveled up your game on video. It's so simplistic when you look at it that way. Okay, now here's the bonus. The bonus is that I take this when I travel. I take this and I stick it in my backpack, and I take this and then I stick this on a plane, and I fold out the tray, and I put my thing down like this, and I kick back with my peanut M&Ms, and I watch a movie without having to hold my phone and without having to look down like this. Money right there. That's a bonus hack for everybody.
That's genius.
Yeah, it's so money. It's so money. So you download some movies onto your phone. So when I land, wherever I go, from Russia to Sweden or wherever in between, I was just in Pensacola, Florida last week. I'm watching this on the plane. I got my movies, I got my thing, my video is like right here in front of me. It's so epic. So
that's awesome. I was not expecting that hack.
Bonus hack right there. It's a game changer for me. Diana is a mega star at Instagram stories. If you don't follow her, you should, which I'll be saying in all of my content descriptions for these videos. But her Instagram stories are epic and fun and exciting and energetic and make you happy. So Diana, what is the secret? What are your tricks on doing awesome Instagram stories? And you can talk directly to me, because I gotta up my Instagram story game. So while you're talking to people in general, don't be afraid to give me some advice.
All right, awesome. Well, to definitely take the pressure off of yourself, because I view the content on your grid as more thought out content. Maybe it's like the brains of the operation, whereas your stories are more just the soul of it all, just you showing the personality behind, all of this great content. So yes, you might be informing people, but you're also creating this glimpse into who you are. And oftentimes people worry about, seeming professional on social media and all these things. So they forget the fun element. People go on social media most of the time to be entertained. And you don't have to be a comedian really, or you don't have to do anything crazy. Sometimes it's just, opening up about your life. And you might think it's boring. You might think, well, who's going to care that I was working on this project, or that I have this opinion about whatever's new in your industry? People could actually be interested in that, and you won't know until you start trying it. And the other really cool thing about stories is that it takes up so much space on your screen. It's the entire screen. It's the entire screen. So it's a major investment of attention in your content. And a little hack to get more engagement on your stories is to talk directly to the person, just singular form, say like, how are you rather than how are you guys? Because then people feel like you're actually speaking to them. It makes it much more interactive to respond to you. And oh my God, I have so much advice for stories right now.
It's good. No, give it.
Yeah, no, so like
valuable.
Yeah, so one of the things I've been doing since day one to just build up engagement on my page is essentially creating these, I call them content pillars, just things that keep people coming back for more. So for you, that could be a little tutorial that you host, say, every Tuesday on your Instagram stories. So people know that, okay, every single week on Tuesday, this person is going to be posting this on their Instagram stories, and you can set a countdown so people can set an alert. And then what you do is you teach them something, and then at the very end, have a poll where you're asking them something, whether it's what they thought about the tutorial, or if you are trying to talk about a service that you offer, maybe you want to ask people if they need some more intensive one-on-one help from you. So then that sort of opens up the communication where you can DM them and learn more about them and send them a voice message, say their name, whether you send a voice message or you type it up, but say their name so they don't feel like it's a copy pasted message. It's just a really cool way to just have fun. Take off the pressure. It doesn't need to be this super designed thing, In fact, I only design for my stories when I have something important that I want to talk about. The rest, I just keep it casual. I feel like it takes off some of the pressure a lot of the times. It makes me seem more welcoming, more approachable.
It works for you because they do feel raw and real, and you shoot from your house, and you shoot from your back porch, and you shoot from your car, and you shoot walking down the street, and it's just kind of whenever, and it does come across as like a glimpse into your life. Like what you were posting yesterday, that it wasn't humid and hot, and so you were like outside, and I was like, okay, I know that. I've been to Florida, and it does suck in Florida, the humidity piece. So just that kind of thing makes you real and makes me feel like, hey, we're friends here. And it's like, that's the kind of stuff, if you were at my house and we were sitting on my back porch, we would be talking about that kind of stuff. And so just that realness. And I don't do enough of that. I need to add more of that. And maybe that's a good goal for me for 2020, is to get a little more insight to my own life and personality and things. Because I don't do enough of that. I did try and start one. So my youngest son, Miles, is 8, and I was driving him to school. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try and do a little video while I drive Miles to school in the morning. Yeah. And get him to talk on it and stuff. And he found out that I was recording because I was like trying to turn it toward him. He was like, why are you recording me or something? So I got to get more buy-in, because I think that could be like a fun little segment. It's like, let's drive Miles to school with Mike in the mornings, and I talk about, okay, here's what I have on my schedule today, and Miles says some things, and people would get massive insight into my life. So I think that's the kind of way that we need to use stories. I think there's a lot of value in that. Oh, I did want to say something. I just saw Facebook, like within the last week or two, added double-decker high stories on their mobile feed. So if you open the Facebook app, it's too high, and you scroll through to click on the ones you want. And that is massive evidence of the importance of stories that they're putting into Facebook. I'll be surprised if we don't see something like that in Instagram coming up as well, because I have heard that stories are where a lot of push is going to come for content in the coming year.
I mean, I think I get the bulk of my engagement, honestly, from stories, really. I'm just so active on them. And the other thing is that you can kind of think of Instagram as having different neighborhoods within the app. So you have people that are just story consumers and don't really go through people's profiles. You have people that are in it for the lives or for the feed. And you have people that do a little bit of everything. But I definitely have a good chunk of people, honestly, that pretty much I only hear from them because of my stories. They never comment, but my stories, they do open up and, share their thoughts. So it's definitely something that a lot of people need to take more advantage of, but I think they don't because they fear showing up on camera and sounding a little bit strange, or I don't know, their surroundings aren't as pretty as they think it should be. Just overcoming that fear, really.
Yeah, overcome that fear. It's unfounded. Be yourself. Be you. Be who you are. Connect with like-minded people. And that's what you're trying to find.